The Astros apparently are finalizing a deal with José Abreu. José Abreu, one of the better offensive first basemen in baseball. Last year, he took his home run production was cut in half last year, but all of the other numbers rose. His average over 300. His OPS was just as good. His OPS plus was better in 22 than 21, even with the home runs being cut in half. Over the summer, he was fantastic. Away from Chicago, he was fantastic. Many people thought that he wanted to play somewhere where it's warm. Astros, Houston, warm. Also have a roof for whenever it's not warm. 713-780-ESPN. It ain't Chicago. Don't have to worry about playing outside in some cool days in Chicago. 0029, I absolutely 100% love this. Send us an emoji, too. I didn't know we could receive emojis. It's not a signing where you're not sure if he'll perform offensively. He's a no doubt offensive force that's hungry for a title. I think he fits right into this as well. I think there's multiple questions that are had here in terms of Abreu's addition. One, where does he fit into the lineup? People love to have that conversation.
6.
To me, I just plug him where Yuli was.
Yeah,
I just put him right behind Tucker. I don't have any sort of crazy things.
No, that's what I was thinking.
Because I'm not moving Pena. So I'm still going out because Pena was fantastic in the 2 spot. Altuve, he's your leadoff guy. I know we've had that fight in the past, but whatever. He's your leadoff guy. Altuve, Pena, Jordan, Bregman, Tucker, Abreu.
Yep, I'm totally with you on that.
And I don't think and whoever your left fielder DH is.
Now, people also thought
Abreu.
that this means the departure of Yuli is imminent. Look, I think that if Yuli truly does love Houston and he wants to be a part of this, he becomes your Aledmys Diaz, and Aledmys Diaz is open to go wherever he wants to go.
Yeah.
And if he wants to go play for his brother, or he still wants to play every day and wants to see what else is out there, then Aledmys Diaz can continue to do what he does. And we realize Aledmys Diaz has a really big problem trying to stay healthy for a full 162, but playing the utility man is a perfect role for him. And in this situation with this team, who wouldn't want to be the utility man for this team?
You're talking about Aledmys Diaz?
Yeah.
I think that the signing of Abreu guarantees the elimination of either Yuli or Aledmys. One of the two is completely gone. I think that Aledmys is already gone. I don't think that the Astros would bring back Aledmys Diaz, period. I don't think it even matters what Yuli does. I think that they view David Hensley.
Performance?
Yeah, I think it's performance, probably a little bit of contract. He's going to cost at least $5-7 million a year. I think they can. I think they think that they can get.
You think what Hensley showed you was enough to believe he could be Aledmys Diaz?
Yeah, maybe a poor man's Aledmys Diaz. Yeah. Maybe not as good as Aledmys Diaz.
I don't know
in the ballpark.
I don't know that Hensley plays outfield, but he can play first base better.
Diaz also didn't play outfield well, and there's been some thought that Hensley might try to play left field in spring training. So, they've even had that mindset and that conversation of maybe he does add a little bit of left field, but he also does it at 10 times less, right?
Yep.
Where if you're talking about Aledmys Diaz getting $5 million, Hensley's about to get $500,000. So I think that they've already made that decision. Now, Yuli coming back, I think that Yuli, we've talked about this even before they signed Abreu, because we've been operating with the idea that the Astros are going to sign a first baseman not named Yuli Gurriel. It looks like they are doing that. We've kicked around the idea Yuli Gurriel can be your utility backup corner infielder. He can play a little bit of first base when Abreu needs a day off or is DHing. He can play a little bit of third, although at this stage, I don't want it to be a lot because I don't think he can do it well.
He's played second for Altuve in the past.
Yeah, again, not a lot, but he can do it in a pinch. Duty. And then also, he can serve as a backup DH type as well. Plus, he's also great insurance to have in case you have an injury to first base or to DH.
And
somebody
it takes
that gives
the
you
wear
options.
and tear as an older guy that the grind of 162 will put on those tires that he already has had plenty of mileage on. So I think essentially it's up to him. But if he wants to come back, there's obviously a spot for him. There's a huge affection in terms of the fan base loves this guy, and he's been a part of this golden era of Houston Astros baseball. People don't want to see him go. I think if Diaz went, they were like, hey, thanks for the memories, but, good luck to you. We'll be fine. But because of all of the marks, the positive indelible marks that Yuli left on this franchise, there's a connection in so many ways. And because, again, with that locker room being so tight, he's one of the keys to why it is such a culture with the Astros to where they don't want to lose him.
I actually want Yuli back more now. The idea of Yuli, I wanted Yuli back as a reserve infielder on this team. I didn't want him back as the starting first baseman on this team. There's a lot of positives that Yuli brings to this organization. One, too, he can be like a defensive substitute because of how well he is to picking. We know that. He's got a good glove over there at first base, can pick some balls out of the dirt. But the insurance he provides, good contact bat, I like the idea of having him on the bench. Also, one thing that sometimes we never talk about and I don't think can be talked about enough, is the Cuban connection that the Astros have built because of Yuli Gurriel. Yuli Gurriel is an absolute legend in Cuba. I think a big reason that José Abreu is picking the Houston Astros is because of Yuli Gurriel and the pipeline that they've built through Cuba. So I think that that's a big reason that Abreu's coming to Houston, and I'm hoping that they bring Yuli Gurriel back as a bench guy as well that can provide something offensively off the bench for the Astros.
Let me give you another factor that goes into this, why it was a perfect fit for both sides. Because Dusty likes to rest guys a lot. Because during the season, because of his load management, and we saw how it played out in the playoffs by being the healthiest team, and I saw other teams, Yankee fans and other general managers, basically, including, I believe, Cashman, point out the fact, well, they were healthy. Well, whose fault is that? You know what? As much as we questioned during the year resting a guy when he was hot or whatever, with the amount of days off that guys are going to get in this lineup, the way Dusty says, like it or not, you're going to sit certain times so that you don't have the wear and tear. Yuli gets more at-bats. He gets more games played. And so he's not your average utility guy just waiting for a defensive replacement opportunity or, a rare day off. With the way that they give multiple days off all the time, Yuli still is going to stack up enough games to where he's going to play more so than in most utility guys on other teams.
713-780-ESPN, 713-780-3776. Looks like the Astros are going to be signing José Abreu. What now for the Astros? I have a couple of things here. The left field DH spot. Does this change at all what you want from that position if you need to have it? What it means for Justin Verlander? We just mentioned a couple of offensive free agents, the Diaz, the Yuli conversation. How about the Verlander conversation? Also, what does it make you feel in terms of the general manager spot? Like, everybody, the Astros are a clown show. They're in flux. Who was the dude from The Athletic that we had on that was saying, the Astros are a circus right now? They just signed José Abreu with nobody in charge. It's the Killer Bees on ESPN 97.5 and ESPN 92.5.